Good morning, everyone, and thank you again for having me here, President Wilcox. I mean, I know it's hard enough to be on the stage, but to be blushing and sweating with all those undeserved comments, thank you anyway. I was in New York recently, so I was very close to President Trump, so I was inspired by some of the stuff he does. One of them I want to say, isn't this the biggest assembly ever? I know there are hundreds of people outside as well. Just couldn't get in. So thank you, everyone. And the second thing about learn from him is go off script. I don't prepare anything because there isn't anything interesting to say. But it comes up because when I see people like yourself, it does honestly inspire me. And what a beautiful hymn to start with. To wake up and help someone. And that is really what drives me all my life, and that is probably why I accepted your forceful invitation to come again. It's not easy. I mean, when they say when you're nervous, don't look at the crowd. Right now, I have to do this. But I like to actually say Reed kindly said, well, we have lots of students who'll be ready to go to the missions, and perhaps you could say something to inspire them. What he doesn't realize is that I come here to be inspired by them. What 18 and 20-year-old give up 2 years of their prime life to go away in a strange land? They don't speak the language. They don't understand the culture. Try to help people who are less fortunate than they are. I don't think there is any community anywhere in the world that does that. So that is absolutely something I took away from here the last time I was here. That was 3 years ago. So some of you are unfortunate to see me again, but most of you haven't. So hopefully you won't have to. But I think one of the things that I like to say about my life and why I do what I do, and I think it will chime with everyone who is here today, is the element of service to fellow mankind, regardless of the religion, the culture, the background, the nationality, because we are all part of the same humanity, and we are all created by the same God. So essentially, we are part of the same body. If one part aches, the others will feel it. So I think what you do there to relieve that pain, to reduce that burden, to help that individual to pick him up and give him a life, that goes well beyond that one person. That person will influence others, and I think you are agent for change. So I'm not a Mormon. I wish I could renew my honorary membership, and President Wilcox will put a good word with Elder Oaks next time he sees him. But certainly, I would be proud of all the young people that this university and BYU, I went there, it was a fantastic place, amazing place, that the young people coming out and going to the world and helping to improve the lives of so many others. The last time I was here, I actually said something which came out of the blue, but it was at the time I said the world is a dark place, and you don't need too many good people to change that into light. And if you are in a dark room, you need a candle to brighten the room. You don't need hundreds of them. And right now, the world does need people like those candles. So I thought this university is like a candle factory. It makes so many of these candles go into the dark corners. It was something that, Elder Razvan came and very gracious and very kind and generous. He said, that was wonderful what you said. Can I use it? I said, by all means. There's no IPR on it. Not yet. I've got good lawyers here. I could ask them to write it. But nevertheless, he was very kind to say, that's a wonderful example. He invited me to Salt Lake City, and as President Wilcox will tell you, it was near Christmas. I don't think I've ever been so humbled in my life by meeting so many wonderful people, so incredibly great people. And everywhere I went, they treated me like a guest of honor. In fact, well beyond the guest of honor. I attended the Tabernacle choir twice, one the rehearsal, one for the real. Met some wonderful people like Mitt Romney, the governor of Utah. I mean, just meeting 4 of your senior elders in the church, that is big enough for any Mormon, any faithful. Just for me, it was just like amazing. And I kind of saw something there which realized what I said, what it meant. I saw there was a sign, said, Festival of Light. We celebrate light, the light from God. I said, how wonderful, because that is precisely what I was referring to, is the light of God, not the light of man, human beings doing, because we don't create light. We are given the light. So I read into that book of a philosopher, poet, Rumi, and it says a wonderful piece about humanity. It says, God created man in his own image. What that means is we are a mirror to reflect the light of God. And the shinier the mirror, the smoother the mirror, the more light you reflect. So I kind of upgraded my assessment of people coming out of here. They come here, they get polished by likes of President Wilcox and all the wonderful teachers. They become a shiny mirror. They go out and they do reflect the light of God. And that's far more powerful because it's eternal. It doesn't end with a person. So I think this place could essentially become, or BYU, I hear you have thousands of students graduating every year with the same mission, with the same ambition of going out and helping. My advice to young people, not that I have many, is that if you want to be successful, work hard. If you want to be successful and happy, work hard for God, because He gives you everything you want, and it will be forever. The only thing I would say also is don't ask for more, because He will give you more. But with that comes responsibilities, and that is the more you have, the more people you have to help. So if you're not for it, if you really don't think you can do it, just carry on going along with what He gives you and be grateful. Well, having said all that, Reed did tell me don't take too long because there's free pizza out there, and so you come between you and pizza. That's not a very good balance. I came to you, and I was fortunate enough and privileged to be invited to join a task force for future of education and skills. There is an imbalance of investment in education in the world, which is around a third of what we need to have in order to upskill the people for 2030 to be ready for the future developed technological advancements. Now, that's not a very good position to be in. And obviously, with all the conflicts in the world, currently there are 75 million children living in refugee camps affected by war, with a global warming on the horizon. Yes, it sounds like our biggest enemy. No longer will have religious or national conflicts. There would be a single common war, and that is global warming. By all estimates, people reckon there would be famine, there would be lots of problems for the developing world. But I see that as positive, because I think that's a new dawn of enlightenment, because people will come together rather than fight each other. They will be together to try to fix the problems we have. And education is the core in that area. Education will enable people. These are the two important passions in my life: education and employment, because they both give you purpose in life. And, with education, I feel the time is right for us to start using the technology as an enabler, the good technology, the part that can actually help to broaden the God's message rather than have a lot of fake newses occupying big offices. I think the technology is now coming into play where we have struggled in the past opening classrooms in war-torn countries and making teachers available. with all the fast broadband that everyone has access to, if you go to some of the African countries, they have better signal coverage than some of the developed world. It is a reality that mobile phone has transformed the lives of many less privileged people in the world. And I think a remote classroom is a serious possibility over the next 5-10 years. Individualized and personalized teaching is totally feasible. And the technologies that we've actually been working with over the past many years, which has improved and advanced so much, that now AI is used to virtually get any word in any language translated live without a human intervention. We've set up a demonstration. I think John is up there panicking whether it's going to go live and working, but this is the danger of doing live demonstrations. There it goes. Everything I've said has been captured. I hope it makes sense. I'm not going to look at it because when I do, it always goes wrong. The reason why I show this one is because in the past, we looked at disability as a fringe, as a small number of people affected. So our education system really favored 80% or 90% against those 10% who are harder to help. I think that attitudes have to change, that our education system has to change. If you start including those 10%, in fact, if you design your education around those 10 to 20% who are not classified as able, I can't say able and disabled because people are differently abled. If you actually consider normal as you consider, and if you base your education on those 20% who are not normal, the likes of who are dyslexic, autistic, people with hearing loss, people with vision loss, you're actually lifting the other 80% at the same time. So you're not really suddenly picking up, dealing with the 80%, leaving the 20% behind. That 20% has always become the 100% of our problem in society. We can't fix. It's too late. So the kind of technology we've been working with, and it's getting better, it makes it possible for you to have classrooms where anyone with any capabilities could participate as long as the teachers learn to teach differently. So my advice to all the planners for the next 20 years is teach your teachers to be more creative. Stop delivering the same content that has been done over the centuries. It worked for a while, but I think we're moving at a pace that children are ahead of the teachers. It shouldn't be the case. We should have the teachers leading and the children following. This is one example which doesn't cost much. In fact, this one doesn't cost anything, but it allows you to caption classrooms live, whether it's a primary school, secondary school, or even a university. You get engagement from every child because people don't always follow what the teachers are saying. It's also good reference because you can save it, and it'd be a very good way to actually promote whatever you do because it's digitally available for search engines. I think, please, sir.
I have a comment. Yeah. The system can hear as well as we can. So we're gradually improving the sound system in here. It's complicated doing the sound in this building. This is not a normal building for this kind of a process. This technology works great if it can hear really well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And it really didn't mean that we were looking for liquorable. It wanted to say literal rather than liquorable.
Well, that it could.
But normally you have a mic on,
yeah,
and it picks up very clearly. So
that is also true.
So the system's having the same experience we're having, but we're a startup. We have everything money can't buy, and we're getting better. So we'll make this all work.
I knew that would come up. Just imagine it was translated in Spanish and Italian. That was one of the caveats of what I was just saying. In order to invest in the future, you have to invest in the infrastructure, and this has to be set up correctly. The demo worked really well. That's why we were encouraged to put it up. And I did say, I'm not going to look at it. So that was a caveat. So I would say to everyone here is that the mission really is to educate the world and give them a meaningful job. And that is what I think this university can be the leader in the world to doing, because you're selfless, you care, and you have been fortunate and privileged to be guided by God to be here. Nobody gets here by accident. It's your destiny you have to fulfill, and that comes with a lot of hard work. And with the good leadership you have, I just wish you success. I think I have really spoken far too long, because I know pizza is getting cold. No, what I would say about when I went to, one example, I went to Salt Lake City. Once I found the people extremely, extremely kind, and I felt this is probably the largest family in the world. I felt love in every corner of that city. And I see that here, and I see that every time I meet one of the fellow Mormons. I meet, sorry, let me start again. That's not a good thing to when I mumble. It doesn't work too well. When I went back from Salt Lake City, I discovered two of my employees were Mormons. And when I gave them the gifts I received from Elder Rasband and Elder Oaks, I said, take it to your parents. One of them, he had depression when he joined our company, and I'm glad to say he managed to overcome that, and he had a new purpose in life. He went and got a job, and now he's got a young family. So I rang him, and I said, Adam, did you say you stopped going to church? He said, yes. I said, why? Well, I have to give 10% of my income. I said, isn't that called tithing or something, your religion? Yes. I said, don't you believe that if you give $1, you get $10 back? I said, you do, because I know I've done it, and it works. The trouble is, if I give more, I don't think I can handle what I get back. Do you really think that actually is the reason? He said, no, really, I'm lazy. I'm glad to say that he said he's gone back. So I think what you do here and what you do for the young is amazing. The world needs more like this, because I'm working with a lot of troubled young people with mental health. I'm not going to be judgmental, nor I'm going to be prophesizing what might happen. But at this rate, we're going to have a broken society very soon. Partly because they're driven by materialistic life. There is no spiritual, and that is spirituality in a lot of young people. But I do feel the young will embrace that. They are much more diverse. They are much more passionate about life. And you've seen from this young 16-year-old Greta, she is full of passion because she cares. And most of the young people, in fact, all the young people I know, absolutely I feel they are very passionate about the world, the society, the fellow mankind. So I do feel there is a ray of hope, and I hope that can actually be harnessed by the educationalists, the teachers, to try to address the current need, which is self-doubt. And I have seen first-hand experience of my own communities, our young people. When there is God in their life, they are really well anchored. They are absolutely way around it. They have issues like anybody else, but they certainly know how to manage it. So I just wish you all success in doing what you do, and I hope this is not the last time you've invited me to come here. God bless you.